What roles and responsibilities does the executive branch have in the Canadian government? Why and how do these affect us as citizens of Canada every day? First of all, what's the executive branch?
The executive branch is one of the three branches of the government, which include the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and of course the executive branch.
But what exactly is the executive branch?
The answer lies in the name itself. The word executive literally means the power to put plans and ideas into action, which is exactly what the executive branch does. But who's responsible for making these decisions?
The executive branch is made up of the cabinet, who includes the Queen, whom is represented by the Governor General, Prime Minister, and many other peoples.
The Queen, however still very important, is more of a figurehead in the Canadian government. It still holds a fair bit of power and has the Governor General to represent and make decisions for her in Canada. The Governor General, which is chosen by the Prime Minister of Canada, works alongside the rest of the Cabinet to make decisions and has a rather large influence when it comes to important national laws.
Then there's the Prime Minister, or PM for short. Prime Ministers in Canada do not have a fixed term in office. Instead, they may stay in office for as long as their government is supported by Parliament.
Prime Minister are elected by winning the most seats in the House of Commons and are chosen as the leader by these political parties.
Roles of the Prime Minister generally include directing the Cabinet and electing the Governor General, portfolio ministers, and many other important people. Our Prime Minister right now is the Right Honourable Stephen Harper, who was appointed into office on February 6, 2006, and is part of the Conservative Party. He also has a huge influence in passing and suggesting new laws.
Then there are MLAs and MPs, which are people who make up the rest of the cabinet.
MLAs, or members of the Legislative Assembly, are normally only part of the legislative branch, but they are still very much like MPs. MLAs are people who represent their own individual riding as well.
Riding, also by our constitution, is a city or a town that is represented by the MLA. An example known members whose riding include Edmonton and Spruce Grove.
MLAs are responsible for representing the people in their riding and bringing up issues that concern them. They propose new bills and laws in Canada which will affect the constituency and can even be part of a caucus.
Caucus, a meeting of legislative members belonging to a particular political party to select candidates or vote on policies.
MPs, or Member of Parliament, represent Canada across the country. They are also members of Cabinet and are made up of what even political party there is power. MP have many responsibilities in the government as well, some of which includes deciding Canada's laws by voting on bills, bringing laws, religion and nation issues in the spotlight, as well as anything related to international relations. MPs can also become cabinet minister.
There's only one more group of people that are also part of the executive branch, and they are the cabinet ministers. These people are elected by prime ministers and are put into charge of their own respective portfolio.
A portfolio or ministry that is kind of like a subject that is led by a minister. For example, there is the Honourable Rona Ambrose, our Minister of Health, the Honourable Jim Flaherty, our Minister of Finance, the Honourable John Biard, the Minister of Environment, and the Honourable Jeff Johnston, our Minister of Education. These are just a few of the different ministries and portfolios, and each minister is responsible for their own portfolio.
So this means that the Minister of Education proposes new ideas and make decisions related to education in schools across Canada, and the Minister of Environment would also propose new laws and make decisions expect the would only work on things that are related to or affect the environment.
Then there is the civil service. They are part of the executive branch and a few other branches of the government, and functions to hire employees for federal ministries as well as support the Canadian Crown.
Canadian Crown, the monarchy of Canada with the Queen at the top. Their biggest purpose, though, is to enact the will of the executive branch. The will of the which they do by providing services that support all Canadians. Some examples of these services include almost anything from apprenticeship programs to Canadian savings bonds to the Canadian Postal Service and national parks.
So now that we know who is the part of executive branch and what they do, what does the executive branch do as a whole, what are their roles and responsibilities?
The executive branch, like we said before, has the power to put new ideas, laws, and plans into action. They also have one of the biggest roles in the Canadian government. They maintain laws and rules for Canadians and are our chief lawmakers. It is up to the cabinet to vote, to pass laws, and even decide how much tax money we pay. The executive branch has a collective responsibility for all government policies and takes care of issues for the general public of Canada.
Okay, but how does the all affect us as Canadian citizens every day and why?
The executive branch affects us in many new ways. Not only to decide what laws to pass and how they are enforced, they decide what to do with our tax money and what projects to fund and to approve. The civil service provides many different services that we use every day as well. All in all, the executive branch basically decides how exactly we live every day and what kind of life it is.
So the next time you go to the doctor's office or see a wanted sign for a job opening, or even see your parents pay taxes, think of who made the decisions behind those services and laws, and how do you think life would be without the executive branch.